प्रजा रामपूर्वा सन्ध्या प्रवर्तते उत्तिष्ठ नरशार्दूल कर्तव्यं दैवमान्निकम् उत्तिष्ठ गोविन्द उत्तिष्ठ गरुडध्वज उत्तिष्ठ कमलाकान्त त्रैलोक्यं मङ्गलं कुरु उत्तिष्ठ गोविन्द उत्तिष्ठ गरुडध्वज.
Essentially, she liked, even before concerts, she used to have idlis. The entire money of Suprabhatam went to Lord Venkateshwara himself. I remember when in Pittsburgh concert, when she sang Srinivasa Thiruvenkatamudayan. In one such concert, my grandmother removed the gold bangles and gave it. Sweet she could not have because she was highly diabetic. She was an insulin dependent person.
Tell me something about her other activities than music, and also about her food practices.
Her food practices?
Or food choices.
She
while traveling and while in the home.
Essentially, she liked idlis and dosas. Even before concerts, she used to have idlis. Vetta Kodambu was something which she liked, which is made out of tamarind. They call in Tamil, they call it Vetta Kodambu.
Vetta Kodambu, yeah.
So she liked that a lot. She liked a lot of tamarind.
Oh.
With
spicy.
Spicy. That alone she liked a lot.
Okay.
You can call it one of her favorite dishes. Sweet she could not have because she was highly diabetic.
Oh.
So she was an insulin dependent person. Almost after I think 50th year onwards, she used to have insulin. So, but being a diabetic, she was very, very conscious and had a very controlled diet. Whatever she had, she will have it within limits. Sometimes she used to like badam halwa a lot. But because of her sugar, she could not have. But she'll have just a quarter spoon.
A pinch.
Because my grandfather will also insist you can have a little bit.
So, she had done a lot of charities. Little more about that.
Actually, she started, I think her first benefit concert was for the Kasturba Memorial Fund in 1944. After which, there was a lot of charity concerts for various institutions, like and also prize money which she used to earn, like Max's Award. Whatever the prize money was there, she donated it to Bharati Vidya Bhavan, Rajaveda Patashala, and voluntary health services. So 1/3 amount was divided amongst the three institutions. Most of her royalties, Suprabhatam royalties and all, went to Tirupati.
Oh.
The entire money of Suprabhatam went to Lord Venkateshwara himself.
Even the royalty.
Royalty also. She never took any money from that.
Uttishtha Govinda Uttishtha Garudadhvaja Uttishtha Kamalakanta Trailokyam Mangalam Kuru Matas Samasta Jagatam Madhukaita Bhare Vaksho Viharini Manohara Divya Murte Shri Swami Nishruta Jana Priyadana Shile Shri Venkatesh Daite Tava Suprabhatam.
Similarly, Vishnu Sahasranamam, the royalty went to Ramakrishna Math. Like that, the recordings of Bharadiyar, Shankara Netralaya was given the royalties. And she has sung a lot of benefit concerts for Shankara Netralaya also. There was a period in her life, 1977 or roundabout, where there was, we can call it a bad time, where they had to sell their house and move into a rented house in Chennai itself. There was a very palatial building which they owned. Really a palace with, they had some 20 rooms and a huge garden. And apart from that, they had cows for milk, and even the printing press was in that same area. They had the Kalki magazine. I remember there were 13 watchmen. I mean, Gurkhas. 13 Gurkhas used to be there in that house.
You were also in that house?
I was in that house. I have been there.
Okay.
And the Gurkhas used to have a separate quarters. They used to be from Nepal. And 5 gardeners, 5 drivers used to be there for the cars. It was a very royal, like a queen she lived. And some due to some, we can call it bad time, they had to leave everything, and immediately she went to the US that time, and that too for benefit concerts. So for the New York temple at Flushing, she gave a benefit concert there. Meenakshi temple in Houston, she had given.
Houston, yeah.
Like that, many temples in the US also. Pittsburgh.
Flushing temple is a very old one.
Very old
Of course,
one.
Pittsburgh is
Pittsburgh also there.
called Tirupati of US.
Pittsburgh, she sang a benefit concert. And I remember when in Pittsburgh concert, when she sang Srinivasa Thiruvenkatamudayan.
Srinivasa Thiruvenkatamudayan Jaya Govinda Mukunda Ananda Srinivasa.
When she came to the Charanam, Jagannatha, she has to sing in Hamsanandi. I think she saw Lord Venkatesh or something. She just froze, and with great difficulty, my mother finished the song. That much of that bhakti, she could actually communicate with God, we can say.
She has immersed
herself. Because a person who actually sings will not get that feeling.
Even she was a devotee of Puttaparthi.
She was a very great
regular performer. There.
Yes. She has performed in Puttaparthi many number of times.
Yeah.
A great devotee of Swami, and of course, Pujya Paramacharya of Kanchi.
Kanchi, of course.
They were her gurus, and at every stage she used to take their guidance, including when she went to the United Nations. He gave that song, Maitri Bhajata, and said, Maitri Bhajata.
Tell us about that Carnegie Hall incident, and she was the first.
United Nations. United Nations. She was the first musician to sing in the United Nations General Assembly. Actually speaking, she was called to sing in 1965 by the Secretary General of UN. His name was U Thant. He was a Burmese citizen, and he was the Secretary General, and C.V. Narasimhan was the Under Secretary General. So U Thant invited her in 1965. At that time the India-Pak war started. Mm-hmm. So my grandfather said that when the country is at war, it won't be nice if we are going to sing. And, he actually cancelled that concert. Will anyone cancel a United Nations concert? But it shows their, love for the nation. I think it was India-Pakistan war. Lal Bahadur Shastri was the Prime Minister. China was 62.
62.
This was the
Indo-Pak
war, and he cancelled the concert. I remember there were some appeals by the Prime Minister then during the concerts of MSMA, because large audience used to be there, the government used to appeal for funds, which used to collect. In one such concert, my grandmother removed the gold bangles and gave it. My mother used to say, because for my grandfather's Shashtiyabda Purti, they had just put the bangles, maybe a few months back. And when the government announcement came on the mic, immediately she gave it. For a second, my mother's heart stopped, because she said, my mother and her sister had put that as a gift for the Shashtiyabda Purti. But she gave it to the government. Country came first.
Of course.
That way.
It shows the patriotism.
Very patriotic. And so they went in 1966, after the war. In 1966, the same United Nations Day, that is October 23rd, U Thant had invited, and they went with Murthy Mama, P.V. Subramaniam, Vikku Vinayakaram. It was arranged by the government of India. So, this particular song, Maitri Bhajata, the Paramacharya had given it to her the previous year itself, actually, because they were supposed to go
yes,
in 1965. So this song was tuned by Vasant Desai, the great music director at Bombay.
Maharashtra.
Vasant Desai. In fact, it was tuned at the house of one Kalki Kannan, who was at the time the agent for Kalki in Bombay. almost like a son for my grandfather. So Vasant Desai tuned this song, and I think 2 days he came to that house and tuned that song. Later on, my grandfather sent him a check for 501 rupees, 1965, and presented it to him as a remuneration. After 6 months, the Kalki accountant told, "Sir, looks like check has not been banked. Please check with the artist, Vasant, whether he is not happy with that. I don't know whether he is expecting more remuneration." Then my grandfather sent Kalki Kannan to the house of Vasant Desai and said, as they were talking, he casually asked, "Sir, that check has not been banked. Have you require more?" He said, "That is signed by MS Amma. That is signed by MS Amma." And he showed the wall. He is framed and kept it. He kept it as a memento because it has got a grandmother's signature. So that was the great respect which the artist had.
See, one more thing is sung by M.S. Amma herself.
Herself.
Even today,
Even today, yes.
it's a great message from Periyava.
Yes, yes.
The whole world.
Whole world, correct.
So, everything went on well, and you said about the bad days. And she lived up to 70.
He lived 88 years.
80?
88. When she passed away.
2004.
2004, yes. December 11th, 2004.
Almost 20 years.
Yes. No, this is 20th, Remembrance Day.
So, how did you felt then? Because you were there with her for 40 years.
Yes.
More than you, your mother.
Mother is, yes, very true.
I think
There's a very emotional
she
moment.
couldn't believe first.
Actually, she was not keeping in good health for around 2 years prior to that.
That's
She had a fall in 2002, April 2002. And, there's a pelvic bone which got fractured and had to be operated on, and they kept a steel rod. So that was a little difficult for her.
Maybe she also became weak because your grandfather.
Grandfather also passed away in 1997.
Yeah.
And she stopped singing after that. So she was living a very quiet life. She used to come only to our house. Sometimes to my mother's younger sister's house. And otherwise, she never used to travel anywhere. At that time,
She lived alone there.
she was in Kotrapuram. And she was taken care of by, Mr. Atmanathan, who was more like a son to her. He was my grandfather's secretary. And so he took care of her in her own house in Kotrapuram. And when she passed away at the Isabel Nursing Home on December 11th. And immediately, huge crowds on the day of her funeral. We got a call from Rashtrapati Bhavan, President Abdul Kalam, and he said he first requested whether the funeral can be on the next day, because probably he had some commitments that day and he wanted to visit. So we sent a message that we prefer to cremate on the same day. We don't want to postpone. At that time, within half an hour, there was a call from Rashtrapati Bhavan again. Please don't take the body for cremation. President is on his way to the airport. So President, he left from there. He had his own flight, of course, and he came here at around 1 o'clock or so. He paid his last respects along with the governor and chief minister. Everybody was there. And he was in tears, actually. She was the first musician to be given a 24-gun salute at her funeral. Lifted the body, rain started. It was amazing. It was a miracle, we can say. And the next day, the papers reported that. See, actually, Aishwarya has sung in front of my grandmother. This girl will take over my name. So it was a big blessing from her. Thief said, I opened the room to steal. As they put the torch and searched, he saw MS Amma's photo. That spirit of my grandmother still prevails all over.